in the vast and silent lands of Germany. Hinterkaifeck Farm, one of those places where time appears to stand still, became the stage for one of history's most chilling events during a bitter winter night in 1922. This isolated farm was not merely concealing secrets beneath the earth, it harbored a terror that had been forgotten for centuries, waiting to be unveiled. In the ensuing moments, the tragic fate hidden behind Hinterkaifeck's cold walls would emerge, a horror story destined to push the boundaries of human understanding. As night fell, darkness mingled with the whispers from deep within the forest and the melancholic tunes produced by the wind passing through ancient walls. These sounds heralded the arrival of unspeakable events at the farm. No one fully grasped the ominous presence creeping closer, nor the unspeakable horror about to be unleashed. Nestled in the Bavarian countryside, Hinterkaifeck was a forgotten corner, far removed from the clamor of modern cities and the dazzle of urban lights. Surrounded by nature's ruthless face, the farm had been built in isolation where silence and solitude reigned supreme. Every corner of the weathered wooden house and every worn wall echoed the fatigue and sorrow of many years. The forest that enveloped the farm was home not only to natural life but also to unseen dangers, ghostly presences, and secrets that haunted the human mind. As dusk deepened, a veil of mist cloaked the surroundings, drawing an almost imperceptible line between nature and man while carrying traces of a forgotten past into the present. In such isolation, confronting one's inner world became inevitable. Hinterkaifeck was more than just a place of dwelling, it was a temple of terror filled with enigmas, long-forgotten tragedies, and inexplicable entities. The residents of the farm belonged to a family that lived in an isolated universe, disconnected from the outside world. Andreas Gruber and his wife, Cecilia, had long toiled on the same land, their lives sustained by hard work, only to eventually become victims of fate's cruel games. Their young daughter, Victoria, shone as a beacon of hope with her innocent eyes, while the household maid, who managed the daily chores, was an indispensable part of that small world. Each day, the sweat of laboring hands and the creases on tired faces told a story of life's hardships and the ruthless realities of nature. Yet nothing hinted at the impending tragedy. One ordinary winter morning, peculiar noises emanating from the house and an unusual flurry of activity caught the attention of nearby residents, a forewarning of a fate too dreadful to be imagined. Andreas and Cecilia, weighed down by the years, silently carried within them not only exhaustion but also an indefinable unease that lurked in every dark corner of the farm. Even as Victoria's innocent smile radiated warmth along the corridors, no amount of familial comfort could stave off the icy breath of the approaching horror. The strangeness around the farm quickly became apparent to its inhabitants. At first, it was the unsettling sounds in the dead of night, the mysterious footsteps echoing outside, and the sorrowful murmurs of the wind against old walls, as if a warning from the past had come to life. Deep within the surrounding forest lay countless hidden paths and enigmatic traces. These memories, locked away in the darkest recesses of the human mind, hovered over Hinterkaifeck like an ominous shadow. Some locals spoke of mysterious silhouettes seen wandering near the farm, others recalled strange markings and tracks discovered in the fields. Each sign served as a grim prelude, igniting a foreboding sense of impending horror deep within the hearts of those who witnessed them. Though the household dismissed these signs amid the everyday hustle, the secrets hidden behind the cold walls grew deeper with every passing moment, carving a dark void within the soul. Seemingly insignificant details, perhaps subconscious warnings, hinted that fate was silently and ruthlessly closing in. That fateful winter night in 1922 marked the beginning of the horror that would be unleashed at Hinterkaifeck. No one had expected that on this night, the very doors of the house would be violated. What began as a day of growing silence transformed, as night fell, into an eerie quiet that was soon shattered by events spiraling out of control. In the oppressive stillness, the sound of cold, deliberate footsteps echoed around the house. As snowflakes silently descended to the earth, the warmth within gave way to the paralyzing chill of terror. First, an ominous silence gripped one of the back rooms. Then, sudden, forceful blows resounded in a corner of the house. signaling that an ordinary space had instantly transformed into a nightmare. In these harrowing moments occurring both independently and simultaneously, every room became an echo chamber of fear and agony. Family members, immersed in the daily grind, unknowingly took their final breaths as the house's walls seemed to weep in silence. No warning cry was raised, only the relentless, icy strikes and the indelible traces of pain remained. Soon after, the silence was broken by screams. But these were not the typical shrieks found in horror tales. They were cries laced with an indescribable pain and despair. Each sound reverberated like the echo of a long-forgotten vengeance, sending shivers deep into the souls of those who heard them. That night, at Hinterkaifeck, moments came together where dark secrets and the deepest human fears intertwined. When morning broke, an eerie stillness reigned over the snowy fields. With the sunrise, curious neighbors ventured near the farm, drawn by the unsettling quiet and the abnormal conditions emanating from within. Yet what they encountered behind the door was a scene that reached into the deepest, most terrifying corridors of the human mind. Inside, the house resembled a battlefield. Every room, once filled with the joy and warmth of life, now bore the marks of sorrow, grief, and the numbing silence of death, each detail a testament to the most horrifying tragedy ever witnessed. Death had claimed every corner with silent, unyielding authority. The terror that had gripped the family in their final moments left an indelible mark on that cold morning, with every detail underscoring the profound impact on the human soul. When the police and local authorities finally entered the house, they were met with a scene that defied comprehension, a tableau of horror so intense it seemed beyond words. Every trace, every meticulous detail, evoked an unaccountable, cold vengeance from the past. The hidden secrets behind the frosty walls appeared to speak, their language a cryptic riddle that defied resolution. No fingerprints, no discernible evidence remained, only the cold, calculated remnants of a terror that seemed orchestrated by a spectral hand. In that moment, the inexplicable mystery left everyone grappling with a reality that defied logical explanation, leaving behind only the persistent echoes of fear, despair, and unending questions. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the ensuing investigations plunged into a whirlwind of chaos and uncertainty. The police painstakingly examined every trace around the house, conducted detailed searches inside, and gathered testimonies from neighbors, yet no single detail could be pieced together conclusively. The notion that the murderer, a figure cloaked in shadows, leaving no trace behind, had executed the act with chilling precision began to consume the minds of the investigators. Every facet of the event seemed to defy rational explanation. The very routines of the family, and even the natural elements surrounding the property, appeared to be part of a preordained plan behind that dreadful night. The isolation, loneliness, and fatigue that defined life on the farm only deepened the enigma, blurring the line between the explainable and the unfathomable. Multiple theories emerged during the investigation. Some speculated that internal family conflicts had escalated into a deadly showdown, while others suggested that a mysterious stranger had infiltrated the property, executing the massacre with cold calculation. In either scenario, the influence of mysterious forces and the darker corners of the human psyche proved to be the greatest obstacles to uncovering the truth. Certain objects at the scene seemed deliberately arranged or hidden, as if the killer had artfully orchestrated every detail to confound the inquiry. In every shadowed corner of the farm, the echo of a terror from beyond time could be sensed. The cold dread that gripped hearts remained as fresh as the morning frost. The Hinterkaifeck Massacre was not solely an act of physical violence, it was a horror that opened the deepest wounds of the human psyche and pushed the limits of the mind. This event came to symbolize the inevitable confrontation with the darkness within oneself. Each victim, in their final moments, experienced a terror so profound that it was accompanied by a sense of hopelessness toward their loved ones. Their final breaths reverberated like silent ghosts. The innate human fear of the unknown echoed throughout every room, every cold wall, and every trembling heart. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect was the knowledge that this fear might never truly end. the story of Hinterkaifeck evolved into a symbol of ceaseless terror and the endless curiosity it provokes. The uncertainty that resides in the human mind seemed almost nurtured by this event. Although attempts were made to provide logical explanations, every clue only spurred more questions, more dark murmurs, and an intensification of the terror that defied closure. People, gripped by their own fear of the unknown, projected upon the events a presence of an unseen entity. The impact of that night extended far beyond the physical. It left deep, psychological scars. This tragedy stands as a testament to how fragile and easily overwhelmed the human soul can be. Hinterkaifeck was not just a farm, it became a symbol of hidden fears, forgotten tragedies, and the inexplicable events that haunt the inner recesses of our being. Years have passed, yet the horror of the Hinterkaifeck Massacre remains etched in the collective memory of humanity. Every dark night, the traces on the neglected walls seem to revive the echoes of that terrible evening. Every gust of wind appears to whisper the chilling secrets of that fateful night. The unanswered questions left by the murderer or murderers continue to fascinate researchers, history enthusiasts, and lovers of the macabre. The tragedy concealed behind Hinterkaifeck's closed doors is not merely a relic of a bygone era. It is a stark reminder of how deeply fear can penetrate the human soul, transcending the limits of rational explanation. Each uncovered detail and every subtle hint serves as an enduring testament to the vulnerability of the human mind when confronted with the unknown. Thus, the Hinterkaifeck Massacre endures not only as a historical crime but also as a timeless narrative of terror, a story that continues to haunt the deepest parts of the human psyche. The secrets locked away within the farm's walls deepen with every new investigation, leaving persistent questions in the minds of those who dare to explore the mystery. The tragedy of Hinterkaifeck transcends a mere murder case. It has carved its place as one of history's most mysterious and inexplicable horror stories. This event illustrates, in stark terms, how forces that push the boundaries of the human mind and the isolation of life can alter the course of history. Even as time marches on, the traces of that cold, unforgiving night continue to send shivers down spines in our modern age. Such a horrifying event leaves an indelible mark on the collective subconscious of society. Whenever one ponders the tragedy hidden behind Hinterkaifeck's locked doors, it becomes apparent that the event was not only a physical horror but also a revelation of the darkest, most fragile parts of the human soul. The final screams that echoed through the house that night have, even today, embedded themselves in the hearts, minds, and deepest emotions of those who remember a storm of terror that refuses to fade. In conclusion, the Hinterkaifeck Massacre stands as a testament to how terror can seize the very essence of human existence, targeting the deepest recesses of the mind and heart with relentless, unexplained cruelty. This event is more than a historical tragedy. It is a symbol of the perpetual fear and despair that continue to define the human condition.